Tea for time.
Welcome back, everybody, to Timeout. Ooh, it is getting juicy. And we all know football is juicy in general as we talk about football foreplay, but that sounded bad, but here we are. Playoff picture is starting to make shape itself. Itself. And it's exciting, you know. Obviously, very exciting right now that we are on top of our division, but everyone is very close. So although we are on the top, we have to win out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Seattle losing to Green Bay was huge for us. And I think Green Bay is also fighting for a wild card spot, so huge for them. The NFC North might have 3 teams in the playoffs.
It certainly looks like that as of now.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them. We'll get to the Lions game and that onside kick situation. But before we get there, our game. Listen, the holidays are here, and so is the weather.
Yeah.
Y'all, I did not know it was raining.
No, me neither. I was looking at the screen during that game going, what? Where? I thought we were in California. I was like, what? No, we are.
Yeah, well, the rain came, and it came hard. But you know what? I was going, why can't Matthew hit a receiver? It's like, and finally they showed how it was pouring. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to Matthew, he was like, it was tough. You were just trying to guide the ball. You couldn't really throw it. So if you are a fan of sports or you know about throwing a ball, when you push a ball, obviously it's different than when you throw a ball. Oh, yes. So if you played baseball or anything like that, my dad would always be like, throw the ball, stop pushing it. And I would push it. I'd push the ball just because I'd want it to get accurately to that person without, because when you throw it and give it speed, sometimes it can not be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, as a professional quarterback, when you throw it with speed, usually it's accurate. But in that game, he was like, yeah, I was having to kind of guide the ball instead of, and it looked, I was like, what is, because I didn't know it was raining. Yeah. I was like, what is going on?
I know, it looked real slippery out there.
Yeah, and the receivers, even if the ball touched their hands, it was just like, pew.
Yeah,
I know. I was like, what is happening?
So is rain worse than snow?
I think so, yeah.
I would think so, too.
Yeah, and I know the TMA page reposted the snow game, which people seem to forget that game. That game was wild. I remember I was decorating my graduation cap for nursing school.
Oh, my goodness.
Girl, and that's when I totaled Matthew's car as well.
In the snow also, right?
Yes, in the snow. And it was horrible. I felt absolutely horrible for it. But thank goodness, I was actually hungover that day because a lot of the girls, when we were decorating caps, were drinking champagne. I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think I would hope I would have been smart, but this was before Ubers were around. So luckily, I didn't have a sip of alcohol, but I was driving home and slippery, and we had a Ford truck, and I just totaled the truck and the people's car in front of me.
And then I know. And we've talked about that on TMA before.
Oh my God, I felt horrible. And of course, when they called Matthew, he's like, which car? I'm like, fuck you. But it was a dealership's car, so that's why it was a problem. It wasn't our car.
Oh.
Yeah, not good. Anyway, so weather is here. It is the winter, and it's fun, and it's crazy. This week going to New York, it's going to be freezing. And I also decided, we are going for the show. If you're around New York and want to come to the TMA show, it's on Saturday. Look it up online.
It's at the stand.
It's at the stand. Kira's going to give you the details because right now my brain is fried. But I decided, I was like, I can't go to that game.
Yeah. I'm so proud of you. I really am.
You know what? And we'll get to this with TMA, but year of no. And I was like, no, it's freezing. And I feel like everyone's like, well, why don't you sit in a suite? I'm not going to sit in a suite. I'm not going to go to New York and pay for a suite. And no. I also like to be in the mix, but not when it's that cold. And I want my sleep.
Yeah.
And I want to get back to my bed. And to be honest, 3 days without my sleep number bed, I honestly don't sleep. I've called Matthew's doctor about it, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I cannot sleep unless I'm in my home. And whether or not Matthew's next to me, sometimes that makes a difference. But I need my sleep number bed, so I'm coming home early. Speaking of that, it is the holidays, guys, and if you need a new mattress, this is honestly the best time to do it. So if you are in the mood to go try some sleep number beds, go to their stores. They have them all out. They have all different kinds, obviously all different sizes. So go check those out.
Kind of like a cute date idea. You know, like go with your partner to the Sleep Number store.
I mean, I kind of love that.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
I mean, sure.
Even I don't know, even if it's early, like why not? Why don't you talk about your sleep habits?
Yeah, go find your sleep number, your sleep score, you know what I mean? Or your sleep. I'm like a 90. No. Oh God, hold on. Go find your sleep number. Oh, sleep number. I'm a little softer. Matthew's like a 95 these days. But no, seriously, it's a game changer for us. So I am coming back home early and just gonna get into my bed probably to watch that game. But talking about playoff picture, newly clinched teams, Steelers and Vikings in the NFC. So obviously the ones who are already in it are the Lions, the Chiefs, and the Bills. Wait, the Bills are AFC and the Chiefs are AFC. Oh, we're just talking full on.
Just like clinch, not division. Yeah.
Yeah. So in total, those are the 5 teams that have clinched. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. No, and Eagles clinched. 6.
That are definitely in the playoffs.
Yes. Okay. So there you go. 6 out of the 16
teams, I think 14 or 16. Wow, guys.
14. We went over this last week.
Yeah.
Yes, 14
we
teams.
hope you guys learned because we didn't.
No, we're just tired. I had a really long weekend, which we'll talk about on TMA. But okay, also really quickly, right now the Lions and the Eagles are tied for the NFC number 1 spot when it comes to record. They are both 12-2. Minnesota can also join them if they obviously this is airing on Tuesday. We are talking about on Monday. So if Minnesota won last night, they also join them at 12-2. The Lions hold the tiebreaker over both of those teams, but the Eagles' schedule from here on out is easy. Well, compared to them, they have the Commanders, the Cowboys, and the Giants. So those look like 3 wins when you're looking at them.
You never know, but
you never know with the NFL. But the Lions are going to have to win out if they want that number 1 seed. Now, the Lions, I didn't look at their schedule, but they play the Vikings. I know that.
Yeah,
so that will be the tiebreaker for them at the end of the day if they both win and the Lions and Vikings play the last game of the season. So if they both win out until the last game, that will be the tiebreaker for them, which would be such an incredible game to watch. I feel like all the last games are going to be kind of intense.
January 5th is going to be a day.
I know. We play the Seahawks, which that could be potentially
huge
division. So a lot of good games on that last one. But if everybody wins out and the Lions beat the Vikings at the end, they will have the number 1 seed because it goes to conference record, and right now the Lions have 1 conference loss to the Bucks, I think, and the Eagles have 2.
Yeah.
So the Lions will get that number 1 spot. So if you're a Lions fan, you are sitting real pretty right now. You just have to beat the Vikings the last game of the year.
I'm kind of into the Eagles. Honestly, there was like a little spark in there. Like, did you see Jalen Hurts' post-game interview yesterday?
No, I didn't.
He's kind of really cool. He's like, if I met him, I'd be so intimidated because he's just like, he just sits down.
He's a cool factor.
Oh, totally. He just sits down and he's like,
he's got Riz.
He has so much Riz. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Oh my God, Riz. He does. He has so much Riz. He just sits down for his interview. He's like, is that what you guys wanted to see?
Oh, because wasn't there some like tension that like him and Antonio Brown weren't connecting or something?
Something like that. And listen, we were not going to give ourselves a timeout and get in the middle of that.
Also,
but
no one knows what's going on in the locker room. So unless you're in it,
exactly.
Media can speculate all they want. And obviously they speculated that and look what happened. You just gave them fire.
Oh, yeah.
And they have Saquon, obviously an incredible run game. They look good. They really do. Did we play them this year? We did.
Yes.
Oh, God,
and we won?
No, we did not win.
Oh my God. That's because I wasn't at that one random. That's the only home game I didn't go to.
Well, that speaks words. Yeah.
I think I need to be there.
Yeah, you do. Rude. Okay. Anyways, speaking of losing, the eliminated right now are the Raiders, Patriots, Titans, Jets, Jaguars, Browns, Bears, Panthers, Giants. Those people cannot make the playoffs. Their season is over. They can make their vacation plans for the off season. You know, when we were
kind of nice.
Honestly, when we were at the Lions, and we knew when we were going to be
What's
out.
the headline here?
No, it's not. Listen, that we all know that trade worked for everybody, so let's just sit on that.
Yeah.
But when we were at the Lions and we knew we weren't going to make it, it was kind of like, well, the off season's longer.
Cabo's looking good.
There is like, no, there's no, you want to be in the playoffs if you're playing this game, but if you're a significant other, you're kind of like,
nice.
It's not the worst thing to be out.
And these games, like you were saying last week, these teams can all be petty though, and still, do their very best.
Yes, ruin your chances. That's kind of what I said. What keeps a team going when they're already eliminated. Well, you can eliminate another team. And be petty in that manner, and that's honestly the only thing you really can do, so why not try?
I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of people are gonna be rooting for the Rams this weekend against the Jets.
I hope so. I
think a lot of people are rooting for the Rams right now. It feels good. It feels good on the internet.
Good. You know what? Oh, good. I'm so glad. I don't get on the internet anymore, obviously, but no, I think if we can stay healthy, sorry, I knocked on my desk, but if we can stay healthy, I think we can give it a go. So, all right. Now, let's go into, hold on. I do want to talk about really quickly because these rules have changed. Oh, I also want to go over a correction. Yeah, so a listener wrote in about someone running out of bounds and the clock didn't stop and she was wondering why. And I asked Matthew and he was like, oh, that was a rule change maybe like 2 years ago. But what it is, and I said if you go out of bounds, the clock stops. That is not true.
Oh.
Okay. If you go out of bounds under 2 minutes in the first half, the clock stops.
In the first half?
Yes, under 2 minutes. So after the 2 minute warning in the first half, if you go out of bounds, clock stops. But before that, it does not stop.
Oh.
Okay. Now, second half, it's under 5 minutes.
Oh my, I would not have known this.
Well, yeah, and like, come on, why are we making this so difficult?
Do they do a 5-minute warning in the second half?
No.
I've never noticed. Why wouldn't they do a 5-minute warning then?
Well, it's just a rule that's known by the refs. No one else really, well, they know it. Players know it, but there's just a 2-minute warning in both halves.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. So there's your correction. I apologize. I did not know of that rule change, but clock stops under 2 minutes if you go out of bounds in the first half and under 5 minutes if you go out of bounds in the second half, and otherwise it does not stop.
Well, I can understand why people would be confused by that because it would seem arbitrary.
Yeah. And I think in college it stops.
Yeah.
Right?
It stops way more from what
who knows? Those games seem long. I will say, though, these NFL games, I feel like have been flying by.
Yeah.
Like they're short.
Well, I don't know if Thursday flew by.
Well, I think they are. I don't know if it's because people are running the ball more or what, because obviously, but now with these new, they never stop the clock.
Yeah.
All right, I really hope no one in my family is listening to this because they will know what they're getting. And guys, I'm not kidding. I got everyone in my family Skims. Now, you might be thinking it's just for women. Actually, it's not. It's for women's, kids, pets, men. Everybody on your list can be taken care of through the Skims website. I fell in love with their soft lounge set. I mean, my sister-in-law was actually wearing one when we went on vacation to Evermore 2 weeks ago, and she was telling me how much she loves it too. So literally everyone in my family got Skims. My grandmother's got Skims. I'm obsessed with their stuff. It is so comfortable. This is no lie. I love their bras, their underwear, their dresses, their lounge sets, their pajamas. I mean, the list goes on and on. So I also literally told them that I sent me there when I checked out just because I wanted to get the credit for my huge order that I placed. So if you're in need for holiday shopping or if you want to be comfortable, shop Skims Holiday Shop at skims.com. Available in styles for women, men, kids, and even pets. If you haven't yet, be sure to let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. It's kind of great.
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of people, which is understandably so, there was a huge game yesterday between the Bills and the Lions. Honestly, the amount of points scored by the Bills in the last 2 games is crazy. One against us and one against,
I know. I was just thinking back-to-back games like that.
I mean, Josh Allen is just fucking rolling.
He's a beast.
He is, I truly believe, the MVP of the league. And here's the thing. It's funny to me. People forget what MVP is.
Actually, thank goodness you brought this up. I'm so confused by it personally, too.
Okay.
Who wins this?
It is if you remove them from their team cannot function.
Okay, so
that's why they are valuable. They are needed.
So it doesn't have to be the team that wins the Super Bowl?
No. There is an MVP of the Super Bowl.
Oh, there's several MVPs.
Well, there's an MVP of like the year, and then there's a Super Bowl MVP. Okay. So, but like if you remove Josh Allen from his team and put another quarterback there,
it doesn't work.
No, not as good. Not nearly as good. He is so good. Now, if you remove some other quarterbacks from their teams, they're kind of the same. I think the other one in the league that's really fighting for that MVP is Saquon Barkley. Who we all know he is an MVP of his team as well. Without him, that team's not the same. But it just comes down to who kind of has the better MVP season, which I think right now is Josh Allen.
Well, love makes you perform better, I guess.
I know. And that flow, I looked at Matthew and I was like, I didn't know he had a flow. And we played him last week, but I just didn't even notice. Him and Matthew's like hair coming out the side of their helmets after the game. I was like, look at you two.
I'm kind of into this like long hair being in on these guys.
Let's go. Well, Matthew's always like, I'm going to cut him. Like, no, you're not. Don't cut it. It looks so good.
Yeah, I think his hair looks nice long.
I know, with the gray beard too. It plays. All right. Anyway, so it was an incredible game. We watched most of it. We had a gymnastics competition yesterday too. So we didn't watch all of it, but we watched the important parts, which is at the end.
Which, side note, that was one of my favorite things on the internet in support of the Rams and Matthew. Everyone was like, good job, number 9. Like, go be a gymnastics dad now.
I know.
How cute.
It was that, the post-game conference where he was like, yeah, I'm going to go watch gymnastics. And let me tell you what, we watched gymnastics 5 hours in bleacher seats, my ass. And I'm sure I'm complaining over here. And my husband just played in a football game. It's probably like, oh my God.
I don't know. Bleacher seat might be just hard enough if he likes his sleep number setting.
That's true. That is true. All right. So a lot of people wrote in about the onside kick that Detroit decided to do at 12 minutes, wondering, was that the right call or not? Listen, I'm not a football coach. I don't know. But here's one thing I will say. Dan Campbell never does anything by the books. And it usually works. This did not work. Okay, so they decided to attempt an onside kick with 12 minutes left. Before we go into the details, I'm going to tell you why this is different, because they've changed all these rules recently.
Yeah, can we also just go over what is an onside kick?
Yes. Before we get there, we're going to go over the new kickoff, because that has affected the onside kick. Guys, I told y'all that we replaced all of our stuff in our kitchen, our bakeware, our cookware with Our Place, just because it is non-toxic. And, we try really hard to eat healthy and the fact of organic and trying to put the right things in our body. Turns out we were cooking with toxic chemicals, so who cares if it's organic, because you're just cooking toxic chemicals into the food that you're eating anyways. So we replaced everything with Our Place. Their products are made without PFAS and Teflon. They also are doing the same with appliances, especially their air fryers, pressure cookers, crock pots. They are changing the game, and not to mention, but also important, all their stuff is beautiful. So go check it out. Go to FromOurPlace.com and enter my code MORNING at checkout to receive 10% off site-wide. That's FromOurPlace.com, code MORNING. Our Place offers a 100-day trial with free shipping and returns. If you have someone who loves to host or cook, this is a great gift for them. So go check it out, FromOurPlace.com, and use that code MORNING. The new kickoff, the kicker still lines up at his 35, which is the same as the old, but the kickoff team lines up on the opponent's 40.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, Kelly has grabbed her little field board.
Yes, okay. So if you're looking, here's the kicker, okay, at their own 35. Then you have his team on the 40, on the opponent's 40. He's kicking it this way, just FYI. And then the receiving team, they have to have at least 9 people in the setup zone, which is between the 30 and the 35. So they're basically 5 to 10 yards apart. The two teams that are the rest of the team, or the kicking and receiving team. Now, they're going to have 2 players in the back to field the kick. So what that means is they're trying to take away like the brutal, just like running full force at each other. So they start closer together. Neither team can move until the ball is either touched by the receiving team or it hits the ground. Okay, so that's why when they kick it, they're completely still. In the past, right when the kicker kicked it, the kicking team would run down.
Okay.
Okay, so they cannot, nobody can move. It is, I think they're just trying to take away like the brutal hits of the old kickoffs. I don't think many people like this dynamic kickoff, so I wonder if it's gonna stay. But if the ball does not, so the landing zone, they consider it the landing zone. Okay, 20 yards and in is considered the landing zone of the kick. Okay, if it lands in the landing zone and rolls through the end zone, this is crazy because I'm having to read this, so I don't even. The receiving team starts at their 20, okay? If the kick lands in the end zone or is down in the end zone, the team starts at the 30. If the kick does not reach the landing zone, which is the 20, if it doesn't reach there for some reason, if it's a botched kick or if it goes out of bounds, the team starts at the 40. The receiving team starts at the 40-yard line. Gotcha. So that's huge. So if you're a kicker, that's why they're trying to kick a lot of them through the end zone, because you know that you're going to start at the 30 rather than trying to place it or anything like that, and you botch it and it goes out of bounds and the kicking team gets it at the 40. So that's obviously very new, and that's honestly why, and we used to get it at the 25, so now there's 5 more yards added. So a lot of people are just kicking into the end zone and kneeling down and getting the ball at the 30.
Right.
Because, I mean, the 30 is great, and
that's
honestly, yeah. The people, like, why do people take it out of the end zone? You see a lot of guys catch it in the end zone where they could just go down and get it at the 30. Either the team has said, we're bringing it out, so look for it, or they see something where they're like, I think I can get past the 30.
Okay.
Or if it's a shitty kick and it's in the if you say it lands in the landing zone, but it doesn't roll to the end zone, those guys got to go get it and run it.
Everyone's got to go get it?
Everyone, well, they
have to touch it first.
Yes, the 2 people in the backfield that are fielding the kick need to go get the ball. So anyways, but it's definitely an interesting rule change. I really don't think many people like it. And one of the reasons people really don't like it is because it has taken the ability away for a surprise onside kick. Before, you never knew if teams were going to onside it or not.
Really?
Yes. Now, with these new rules, you have to declare that you're onside kicking the ball. Okay. Onside kick is basically hoping that your offense is going to get the ball back, because onside kick, and now it's different too. The reason it's different, the reason you have to declare is because they line up differently for kickoffs. So when they are onsiding the kick, when they declare onside, it can only be in the 4th quarter. The team that is doing it they have to be trailing. Okay. You can't do it if you're winning.
Wait, oh gosh, this is kind of random.
Yes, and you have to tell the refs that you're doing it.
Yeah.
And they let the other team know, listen, this is an onside kick, because they line up differently. So the kicker is still at the 35, right? So the kicker is still, I don't have an eraser. The kicker is still here, okay, 35. But the opposing team lines up at the 45.
Okay.
So the opposing team would be 10 yards away from the kicker.
So they're closer to their end zone.
Closer to their end zone, closer to the kick, because we know the kick's not going far.
Right.
Okay? But they know it's coming. So they send out all their receivers.
Right.
The hands group is what they call them. People who can catch the ball. Big tight ends.
Right.
They're not sending out people who can't catch, which honestly, if you're in the NFL, I'd be surprised if you can't catch. Yeah. You can catch better than the average person, but you know.
Yeah.
Now, the ball has to go 10 yards before it is touched by the kicking team.
Okay.
And if they touch it before, it's a penalty, and the receiving team just automatically gets the ball. If the only way that the kicking team can try to go for the ball before 10 yards is if the receiving team touches it before 10 yards. Like, say they think they can field it early and they try to go jump on it and they miss. Once it is touched by the receiving team, live ball. Okay. Now, why did Dan Campbell do this? Because he's unconventional. He's always been unconventional. It's what people love about him. It's what players love about him. He goes for things. I don't mind it. Now, it was 12 minutes left. They were down by 10. I will say one thing. Jake Bates, I think that's their punter's name or their kicker's name.
Bates. I forget his first name, but
is a hell of a kicker and an onside kicker. Like both. I think they did it twice. They did it twice. No, they just did it once. Somebody else. But the onside kick he had was brilliant. Mm-hmm. Okay, I believe Bills. It was like Hollins got up for that ball, and if you noticed, if he didn't get up, if he was an inch shorter, there was a Lions player right there to field it. So I believe that it was a great onside kick. Timing wise, I don't know. I'm not Dan Campbell, and Dan Campbell is one of the best coaches. So I think you just trust your coach. And honestly, and I've been saying this and what happened, what was bad was the Hollins guy fielded it and took it all the way to the 5. So then Buffalo scored again very quickly, and they were up 17.
Yeah.
Why do you do this? If you're Dan Campbell, you're probably thinking, my defense can't stop Josh Allen right now. So I don't want to give Josh the ball back. Right?
Yeah.
And the Bills defense couldn't stop Jared and that team. So I want my offense to have the ball. So I'm going to try to make sure Josh never sees the ball again. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that is the mindset behind that. Both defenses on both sides were horrible. Mm-hmm. So you are just trying to get the offense the ball.
Right.
So now it's dicey, but I like it. And this is what Kira knows this, but I've told Hank this a lot. I think it was important, or I think it was good for the Lions to lose. There is something about being hungry, especially getting to this last part of the season and into the playoffs, and being humbled. You tend to bounce back and work harder. Not that the Lions weren't working hard or anything, but there was a little bit of
complacency.
Yeah, and they couldn't. Everything was working for them. All the trick plays, all the throwing touchdowns to linemen, everything was hitting. I think it's nice to know that sometimes things won't hit and you have to be resilient in it. And it's better that it happens now and not in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think I've heard someone, I don't know if it was Hank or whoever mentioned it, but they're like, if the Lions keep winning through this whole regular season, they're going to lose the first round of playoffs. And that would be such a waste.
And who knows, they are a very good team, but like I think it is good. I mean, you think about just regular life, like when you lose something or you don't, I don't know.
Make a mistake.
Yes. You're more likely to just push harder and work harder and make sure those mistakes are, they don't happen again. So I think it's good. I also think that Dan Campbell realized that not everything's going to work every time. Mm-hmm. So you also have to kind of think through, every decision being made and stuff like that. So honestly, I think it was really good for the Lions.
Yeah.
I think it's going to make them bounce back even tougher. So I'm glad we don't have to play them until hopefully the playoffs. I used to feel really bad about making things sweeter by putting, sugar in them, but now I don't, thanks to Monocora honey, because I know that this honey is providing powerful nutrients to support my immunity and gut health. Not only that, it goes well in my smoothies, in my teas, in my coffee. Sometimes I just take a spoonful of it because I know it's packed with those nutrients. And it has a special antibacterial compound called MGO that also comes from the nectar of the tea tree. It really is a game changer. It's basically honey with superpowers, and not only that, my kids love it too. Now it's easier than ever to try Monocora honey. Head to monocora.com/morningafter to get $25 off the starter kit, which comes with an MGO 850 plus Manuka honey jar, 5 honey travel sticks, a wooden spoon, and a guidebook. That's monocora.com/morningafter for $25 off your starter kit. If you have purchased this, I want to know your thoughts. So let me know either in my DMs or in the comments. I want to know if you like it as much as I do. So it's monocora.com/morningafter. We all know that weight loss solutions are not one size fits all. And, with everything going on with all these drugs that are surfacing for weight loss, my biggest thing is I would like a doctor to track, because some of it can be really unhealthy if you're not being seen by a physician. This is why I love hers, because they are changing women's healthcare by providing you access to affordable weight loss treatments, but they are also connecting you with a medical provider who will create a personalized treatment plan tailored to your needs. If you're prescribed a medication, you will get that with a doctor-developed weight loss program, including ongoing care and online support at no additional cost. This is what's big about this company. They're there with you every step of the way. So start your free online visit today at forhers.com/Kelly. That's forhers.com/Kelly for your personalized weight loss treatment options. forhers.com/Kelly. Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. All right. But that being said, I don't really know the rest of the schedule. It's usually now division games are left for the most part, either 2 or 3 division games for every schedule, making everything very interesting. But right now, before we get into football foreplay, I'm just going to go over the updated playoff picture. Mm-hmm. All right. Right now, we have in the NFC, Detroit at 1, Philly at 2, Tampa Bay at 3, the Rams at 4, Minnesota at 5, Green Bay at 6, and Washington at 7. Remind you, if we win our division, we will host, which is crazy.
January 12th, all right.
Yes.
Home game.
And I'm obviously hoping that we win that. From what I'm looking at, if this playoff picture stands, we would go to Detroit the second game.
Wouldn't the script love that? but it would be so overkill to have the Lions win again. I'm just saying, script writers, if you exist.
Yeah, well, it honestly, like, I believe if Detroit remains number 1, and the only way we get in is if we win our division. So if they remain number 1, we will most likely go to Detroit if we win the first round. We have to win the first round of playoffs because they would have a bye. All right.
Right.
On the AFC side, it is Kansas City at 1, Buffalo at 2, Pittsburgh at 3, Houston at 4, Baltimore at 5, Denver at 6, and I almost said the Clippers.
The Clippers?
Well, LA Clippers. The Chargers at 7. So that, as of now, is your playoff picture in what week are we in? 16?
16. We just recapped 16, so we're going into 17.
So going into week 17, again, there are people that need to win out like us to be able to remain in the playoff picture. So there you go. Now, let's get to the fun stuff. Yeah?
Ooh.
Let's get to the football foreplay. Guys, if you are a fan of the Rams or follow them on social media, Puka had an unbelievable football foreplay this week.
Unbelievable.
We'll post the video for sure.
Can I play it right now?
Yes,
actually on the mic so that you guys can hear it if you haven't, because it just speaks for itself.
Yes.
I think you guys are going to understand. I have it right here.
And what's great, real quick, is I was sent this by our head of marketing, and she was like, football foreplay. And I was like, oh my God, I love you.
Aww.
Yes.
I love
so
that.
Kat sent it, and I was like, is this public? And she's like, yes.
I think we do.
She
We need
was
to
probably
trademark
unfortunately,
this?
yes.
Okay, let me see.
The first thing I told Coop was, I was like, man, and I was a little horny in my route. I was like, man, I cut a little bit early. I was like, man, I just feel like I felt in the time, and I was like, I'm ready to break open. And I came out of my break and thinking that I was gonna kind of square the ball up and
Okay.
I mean, that's the gist of it.
All right, so the actual quote from Puka was, man, I was actually a little horny in my route. Okay. I mean, I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but he's giving us unbelievable foreplay.
Oh, the content here, Puka.
Guys,
Thank you.
I mean, I immediately texted Matthew and I was like, I need to know what horny in a route means. And he wrote back and he was like, ha ha ha, why? I said, because your receiver just talked about he was horny in a route. So this is the explanation. And I guess this is a term
it's
used.
A thing.
Yes, and this is why Puka said it so nonchalantly.
He
and
did have a little grin, but yes.
I go, yeah. I mean, I feel like he always has a grin.
That's
that guy
true.
is always happy.
He's always happy.
But so I asked Matthew, and this was Matthew's response. You tip your hand early or you're short on a route because you're too excited to get open. So it's like he's running, he's like, oh my God, I'm going to be so open. And so he cuts early or something. He's horny in it. And that is what it means. They're just so excited.
Yeah.
But I honestly cannot believe that word is interchangeable in a locker. I mean, I guess I can, considering every foreplay that we have, but
everything penetrates.
Horny routes, ladies, horny routes. Talk about it with your significant others. Like, God, that route was so horny. He was so horny in that route.
He threw a pick because his guy was a little too horny.
Yeah. His guy cut early, a little too horny, and the ball was behind him. I don't know. I mean, that's pretty good. And you guys wrote in some other really good ones. I'm going to have Kiera.
You're good on this one.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have Kiera read a few.
Oh, yeah. I got a good one. This was during a Seattle and Green Bay game last night. They were pounding it down their throats.
Oh, my God. Listen, it's just getting aggressive. I feel like as the weeks go by, that just gets more and more aggressive what they say.
I'm like starting to have a conspiracy theory. I'm like, are they all like tuning into the show and like now they're giving us some good stuff?
Obviously, they're tuning in. Why wouldn't you? But that is pretty much it for today, guys. Obviously, we will keep you updated on this playoff picture and the playoff push, especially with us. But it is week
17.
Is it 17? I think it's week 16 because we have 3 games left and there's only 17 games in a... So you know what? Figure it out yourselves. At this point, we're tired. It's the end of the season. We are coming up on the final 3 weeks. LA's got the Jets, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks left.
So we will be back on Timeout next week, but then we take a very short break for the holidays. So
yes.
See us next week. Everything's normal. And then we'll see you in the new year after that on Timeout.
Yeah. And guess what? It'll be the week before the last game. And we will really have a playoff picture by then. So tune into that. Until then, go to Sleep Number. Find yourself a bed with your partner. Go sleep. Go check it out. Until oh my God. Okay. And until next week.
Time in.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Time in and
Ryuda. Oh my God, sorry.
Rough.
That might